Nice to see the town show up this evening. Call the regular meeting to order, Thursday, November 7th, 2024, at 7:05 PM.
Trustee Gutierrez? Here. Trustee Porter?
Here.
Trustee Kunkel?
Here.
Trustee Bancole? Here. Trustee Albeck?
Here.
And Trustee Prigi is out tonight.
Yes, thank you. If you would, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. We have a motion to accept the agenda.
Sorry, Mayor. Can you give us one?
Pardon me?
Can you give us 1 second? Oh.
Hearing nothing?
Okay. Sorry.
I need acceptance of the agenda.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So moved.
Thank you, Kunkel. Second?
Yeah.
I am, without objection, I'm going to swap 11A and 11B around. Thank you.
I want to remove 79.
Can you
Pardon me?
79 moved from consent.
remove 7A9?
Oh, remove from consent? Okay.
Mayor, what do you mean by move 7A and 7A 11?
7A7 removed from
No,
consent?
what was the first thing you
What
said?
did you say first? We didn't catch it.
Oh, I was trying to slide it in. I'm swapping 11A and 11B.
Switching,
Oh, switching your
you
name.
mean switching, that's right.
They're trustee reports.
I think Herb has something to say.
Okay, so 11A and 11B are switched around, okay.
Very good. And
So, and then,
79 we removed
From consent.
From consent,
from consent.
correct.
and then proclamation B is moved
Correct.
to the 11th, the
21st?
Proclamation B is going to be on November 21st.
Okay.
And there will be no workshop on the 21st, correct?
I don't have one planned right now. So no, workshop on the 21st.
Anyway.
Okay.
Where the heck are we?
Can
Oh,
we-
presentation.
Can I
Oh,
take
Take a roll,
roll,
please.
please? So we have proclamation B being moved to November 21st. We are removing 7A9 off of the consent agenda, and we are swapping 11A and 11B. Okay? Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
And Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Presentations. I have a couple proclamations.
Just
One.
Pardon me?
Just
One.
one.
Oh, I guess I just have one. I have two pieces of paper. Oh, the one was moved to the 21st. Okay.
The first one.
All right. Local small business, is that the one I'm reading?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the same one. One's to give someone.
Okay. Proclamation. Whereas the Village of Hanover Park recognizes the vital role that small businesses play in our community, contributing to our local economy, creating jobs, and fostering innovation. And whereas small business are the backbone of our economy, representing 99.9% of all U.S. businesses and employing nearly half of the private workforce, with approximately 30.7 million small businesses operating across the nation. And whereas, according to the U.S. Small Business Administration, small businesses have created 1.9 million net new jobs in the past year, highlighting the importance in driving economic growth. And whereas the Small Business Saturday celebrating on, doesn't make sense to me, celebrating on Saturday after Thanksgiving encourages residents to support local businesses and shop small, thereby strengthening our community and enhancing the quality of life for all residents. Whereas studies show that for every $100 spent at a local small business, approximately $68 stays in the local economy. Whereas the Village of Hanover Park is proud to support our local entrepreneurs and small business owners who provide unique products and services, contribute to our community character, and enhance our local economy. Whereas the village encourages all residents to shop small and support local businesses, not only on Small Business Saturday, but throughout the year. Now therefore, I, Rodney S. Craig, President of the Village of Hanover Park, do hereby proclaim November 30th, 2024, Small Business Saturday to Village of Hanover Park, and urge Hanover Park residents to shop local and support our businesses by shopping and dining locally on Saturday after Thanksgiving as a holiday tradition throughout the year. Very good. I'm not eating the day after Thanksgiving because I'm still digesting. Okay, sorry. Town hall session. Nick Ranella, would you like to step up to the microphone?
Welcome.
Hello.
Nice to have you
About
with us.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5
I don't know if I need 5 minutes, but okay, thank you.
You
Say
got
your
it if you
piece
need
and,
it.
Thank you for your time. I speak on behalf of many neighbors in our community, something that we've been trying to figure out for the last couple years. We thought last year they were coming in, and what I'm speaking about is the roads. Last year it looked like they were starting to mark the curbs, so we were kind of excited, only to find out it was the neighborhood across the way, and then the neighborhood behind us also had their roads done. A simple drive through our neighborhood, you would find that the roads are well past their usable point. I've got friends and neighbors in the area that have been there for 15 and 20 years. Nothing's been done. A lot of shovel patches, but we have some young kids, and they really want to ride their bikes and even use their roller skates or rollerblades. Can't do it. The cul-de-sac's just terrible, and it floods. So I'm asking for some help and to maybe prioritize our neighborhood with some new roads. I live on Ludington Court, right off of Wildwood Lane.
And we just fixed the railroad there.
Yes, railroad crossing's fixed. I do appreciate that.
Yes. We can take down the nasty signs there.
I mean, in 3 years, they'll be back to being rough roads, so you might as well leave it, but.
Yeah, roads and funding is a big part of our agenda, and if any board member, you know, I don't normally like to do this, but if any board member has any questions about its support for the roads or anything like that, it was on our workshop today, talking about roads and funding, and I'm familiar with where you're at, so.
Is there a plan? Is our neighborhood even on the list for the next year or two?
What's
to
your
have-
street name?
So,
Ludington Court,
And
powers that be.
what are the, is there an intersection? Could you provide us just some frame of reference?
Wildwood Lane and
Wow.
County Farm Road.
Okay.
The first,
So your streets are cul-de-sacs.
mine's a cul-de-sac. Our whole neighborhood is cul-de-sacs, which is maybe why it's been forgotten about for 20 years, but it's
TJ,
not a through road, so it's a private road, but the cul-de-sacs, the curbs, the road,
Private roads are cul-de-sacs.
it's a public road.
TJ?
Yeah, we pay our taxes.
Well,
Any-
before he responds,
Oh,
if I could. So, sir, thank you. Nick?
Yes.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. So just before this meeting, we had a workshop discussion, and part of that discussion was actually how do we sustain funding so that we can increase road repairs and patching and things for cul-de-sacs. I know that you mentioned that it seems like it's been a long time that since the village has addressed some of the roads in your area.
Absolutely.
But we have tried very hard year after year to actually increase the amount of roads that we are tending to every year. And so we do have a list of priorities. There's a system in place, and our Public Works and engineering team, they're far more, can speak to it far more eloquently than I can, but we do have a system in place about how we prioritize which roads we will fix next. But I do thank you for bringing this to our attention, because that will be taken into consideration as we look towards the other roads that we will address in the future. So thank you. To answer your question, we do have a system in place. I don't know about your specific street, But hearing these concerns assists with our decision and how we fix roads in the future.
So I would suggest, we have our Public Works Director and the engineer with us in the back row. If you want to take a minute and speak to them out in the hall, I'm sure they'll be
Absolutely.
gracious enough to offer their time.
Appreciate it.
Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Coming in.
I typically don't like engaging everybody in the public, suggestion. But I think it's been on our agenda, it's been in our workshop, and we're talking about it, so that was, I thought, appropriate. My time. I didn't make any notes tonight, so the clerk's not gonna be happy with me. I've been spending, a lot of time, meeting with all the kids at Trunk or Treat. I really like what the schools are doing. It really contributes to the safety of our youth running through the neighborhoods after dark and whatnot. Especially in my neighborhood with the roads all upside down. So that, I really appreciate that. Additionally, really been engaged, a few of us, Herb helping, with veteran needs for veterans in the future. I've had a number of meetings. It's a big agenda. I've been to Great Lakes talking about that, how others are doing it, suggestions and whatnot. So it's in its infancy. There's some looking at property in Hanover Park, which is being vacated by El Huda Academy, who are moving on to a larger location in Streamwood. So that's kind of on the table. We're looking at it. Whether that's the right site or not, we'll see. Today I was, yesterday, a few of us were at, more than a few of us, we're at Fox School, and they do a nice job of reaching out with the veterans that were there. They brought all the 5th and 6th graders, was it? Into the auditorium, and they had canned questions, which I appreciate. I hate to answer questions that are inappropriate, but it was a great event. It was a little over an hour, and the teachers were very appreciative. The principal says, I can't believe this gets better every year. So thank you to those on this board who came. It was rewarding. And today, I've been on the Metro board a little over 10 years. One of the objectives of mine was to honor veterans, and like we do in Hanover Park, this is our 5th year of honoring veterans. We've been recognized again for hiring veterans by the Department of Labor. Thank you to our department. Works on that every year. It has a lot of value. I recognize the fact when I got out of service, I didn't know which way to turn. And it took a couple of years really to figure out with a young child. That was a challenge. But we survived, and today we have opportunities that didn't exist back then. And Hanover Park contributes nicely by hiring veterans, looking at the veterans. I like the fact that there's opportunity there. So in our 5th year of being recognized for hiring the vets. Additionally, on the evening of the 11th, in this, I think we're in this room, we're having a guest speaker whose father was Department of with the Secretary of nationally in Defense, and I met his good friend who is on the pathway to be the Secretary of Defense, and so met that gentleman, and so he's coming to our meeting, and he's quite a great speaker. He's very involved. I'm on the Metro board with him. He's a former Army, I don't know what. You guys have funny ranks, you know. I understand petty officer,
Navy is
chief,
funny
and all those things. You guys, I don't get it. But
I think he's a lieutenant colonel.
you ground pounders are funny. So anyway, we're going to have a wonderful presentation from him. I would invite anyone within earshot to come and visit at 7 p.m. The Lions Club will be providing refreshments and cookies, right? And so, please, I think you'll enjoy it. I have a teacher down south, gosh, what's that southern school's name, but, for some reason, but she's got a lot of cards to bring from, pardon me? No, south. I'll think of it, but, anyway, she's got a bunch of cards to share with the veterans from the children at the school, thanking for the service. And as I spoke to today, when I was in the service, it was not a pretty time. We didn't wear our uniforms off the base. People would not be very friendly. We've come a long way since then, and I'm honored to say that people really care. I have Metro painted one of the engines to honor veterans. They wrote to the Department of Navy, Army, Air Force, all 5 or 6, and asked for use of the logo, and they said no. So I had to, I'm intervening with our congressman. I can't, that's strange. Nobody asked, they just use it. So anyway, moving on from there, I'd like to move by unanimous vote items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And those are items 7A1 through 7A8 and 7A10.
Thank you, Bernie.
What, is 8 as the temporary structures that needs to be? I'm sorry, Mayor,
Yes.
we could have it be 789 stays on consent and 7A8 comes off.
We picked the wrong one,
Yes.
so we're removing 7A8 and not 7A9?
The temporary use one.
Yeah, that'd be 8.
Just remove them both.
Yeah, you
7A8
just-
and 7A9.
We'll remove 8 and 9.
So you're going to vote on 7A1 through 7A7 and 7A10.
So we're removing 8 as well.
Right.
Okay,
7A8 and 7A9. I removed.
thank you. Christie, call the roll.
Okay, trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
And trustee Porter?
Yes.
7A8.
7A8, motion to accept Development Commission findings of fact and pass on ordinance amending section 2.3, definitions, section 6.2, off-street parking and loading, and section 6-7, temporary use and structures of chapter 110 of the Hanover Park Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance.
So,
I don't have a motion.
Rob, is there a motion?
No,
No motion.
nobody did.
Yeah, yes.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Second. Thank you. Discussion, Julianne?
so, we would just like to request that section 6, that the ordinance not go into full force and effect right away, but that it go into effect on January 1st, 2025.
Well,
But aren't,
what section is that?
Section 6,
What page are you?
48 of the packet.
Yeah.
48?
7A8.
So when you say, this is on, okay. So when you say section 6, you mean the entire ordinance?
Yeah, so right now it says that as soon as you approve it, it goes into effect. Staff has requested that it go into effect January 1, so we have time to put all of the pieces in place to review the new ordinance and inspectional services.
Okay,
Until what
So-
date?
We just wanted to go into effect, effective January 1, 2025.
so we're now in November, so if we're looking at, what would we do in the meantime as it relates to the holiday tree sales and things like that? Like, what's the way to?
So I would suggest that somebody amend section 6 to add between the word publication in the second
So we
line
won't be allowed.
and the
So-
word in the second line,
so
the following. But its effectiveness shall begin January 1, 2025. So it reads as follows. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication in pamphlet form, but its effectiveness shall begin January 1, 2025.
That's what the motion would be.
Yeah.
That's what the motion would be.
Are you okay with it? Or no?
I'll give it.
Or, for someone?
But how does that solve your tree sale question?
It doesn't, I think they were, I think.
Oh, maybe that's the question?
No, that's a different question, but yeah, thank you, Brittany. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different question, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Currently-
Because it's gotta go into effect in accordance with the law, but I mean, it's gotta become, in full force and effect, but you can delay until January 1.
Delay enforcement and
Delay,
permits?
delay its effectiveness.
So it's a logistics thing where we have to then put the permit into New World, into the systems that have all the processes to be able to actually issue the permit. And we can't put it into New World to do all of that until it's approved here at the board, and that takes time.
Okay,
So there will be no Christmas
So you're
sale?
just saying that no permit would be issued until January 1.
Well, but also enforcement, there won't be any enforcement. It's cleaner to say January 1, we're gonna start enforcing it, it's gonna go into effect, we'll be able to get permits. And yes, that means no Christmas tree sales this.
Well, the problem is, I think the statute says that when you pass it, it becomes in full force and effect, you know, but
But sometimes
its
we like
terms, but its terms can delay.
Because sometimes it says for 10 days, or,
It does, but there's language that it's got in, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't remember it, but it's, I don't know if it's a big deal or not. I mean, are people coming in to get a permit for this?
No,
Yeah,
you don't have any applications
Yeah.
at this time.
no, what they do.
you know,
They're allowed right now.
well, there are,
I mean, and this isn't just Christmas, there are holiday tree sales, this is a lot of changes for a lot of different items.
Right.
So, are you saying that we can make it effective or go into effect on January 1, 2025?
are we, permitting these trucks to go anyplace, or what? These, food trucks, like a taco truck, or?
So I think there's two things, like, so he's in, the way he verbalized how it would be written for effect on January 1st, 2025. And do you need us to take a vote on that?
well, let's,
Well, I think we need to clarify.
well, yeah, let's clarify.
Okay.
Let
I don't
us,
know what we need yet, that's what I'm waiting.
yeah, let the movement and the second withdraw their motions and their seconds, and I'll come up with a different scenario. Would you do that?
Okay, I will withdraw my motion.
I withdraw the second. Are we tabling this?
Why don't you just wait?
No.
I need it,
Oh,
well,
we're
it
doing
just
it.
delays it even.
The scriveners. I'm glad we remembered.
Kunkel and Porter.
Can we discuss something about this ordinance while he's doing that? Do we have to wait because it's not?
Just,
the
yeah, just wait
resolution?
1 minute.
Okay.
So maybe a better way of doing it is let the ordinance read the way it is. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, publication, pamphlet form in a manner required by law, and then we'll add, but its effectiveness shall be delayed until January 1, 2025. So the motion would be to add at its end, but its effectiveness shall be delayed until January 1, 2025. Now you can make that motion.
Well,
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
I have a discussion, but it's not particular to section 6.
I know,
Can
but
you-
right now, that's the motion.
That's the motion, so
No,
yeah,
no,
no.
and if you have no discussion on
No.
that motion, he can take a vote on that motion. So go ahead, vote on the vote.
Okay,
Do we do
Christie call roll. Is there any?
Okay. Okay, trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
And trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Okay, now, was there a main motion to begin with?
No.
To pass the ordinance?
Yes.
Uh,
We removed it.
well, we removed it.
Well,
There was a motion by Kunkel and Porter, then you changed it, then you had them withdraw first, and the first and second got withdrawn, and you redid it. Have a first and a second.
Oh, okay. So you need a motion to pass it.
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, I like to have a
Yeah,
discussion
I-
about it.
there's more than this, you want to talk about.
No, all right, so if there's, I understand. If there's no so you're saying there was never a motion?
There was just the first motion, and you asked them to withdraw.
Okay, so my error, the process, so, yeah, so,
Not clean.
no, so you should declare the last motion and vote out of order, okay? Can you do that?
I can do that.
Okay, so he's done that. The mayor declared it out of order and asked for a motion to pass the ordinance. So first make the motion to pass the ordinance, then we'll make a motion to amend it.
I motion to pass the ordinance as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, now a motion to amend it by adding
Do
in.
we have to vote on, we have to vote on?
Get a,
We have to vote on that.
No, you don't have to vote on it, because if you vote on it, you'll pass the ordinance. So now you can either have discussion, or someone can make an emotion to amend it. Yeah.
so we got the motion, now we're looking for the
No,
amendment.
she wants to have some discussion on the motion.
Who was?
No, on the motion to pass it.
Okay,
You can,
yeah,
anything.
I did. I have a question. On page 46, it says, "Food trucks shall not be permitted adjacent," and that's section 3, "to existing restaurants unless as part of a special event." So I just want to be clear on this. So we have some food vans, right? Some people that use their vans that they keep out in front. This doesn't affect them, correct?
This is to sell food
From.
from the truck. at
So
the food
what
truck.
of those that have food truck, but they park it in front?
Is your mic on?
Yes, my mic is
A
on.
food truck that they're selling food from?
They don't sell food from it, it's just parked in front. Are they okay?
No.
I don't want to call out a business. Yeah. Okay. So food trucks cannot be parked in front of a business. They have to be parked in the back, or?
Schubert, your mic on? Thank you.
And vehicle signs are not allowed. If they're using it as a delivery vehicle, then yes, that's fine.
Okay. That answered it well. So I think
If
that
they're
answers your
moving it
question
around,
too,
then it's-
Mayor, about the food trucks. Was that your question?
Yeah, we are licensing food trucks to be parked someplace where we didn't before, correct? Okay.
Correct, somebody can come in and get a permit to have a food truck and outline where they want to park, what days they want to park it, when they want to serve food from it, and that permit will have a certain period of time, and then it'll end.
Okay. Then I have a second question about the retail product displays. The special use permits will tell them how long those can be out, or is it any time of the year, or is it specific, or? So they could have a retail product display 365.
So an example that was discussed was, say,
and I'm going to use one of our grocery stores as that example, that may have, say, pumpkins outside, or with, say, season, change it, so the next time there may be onions outside, but they may be able to display the product. Similarly, there's a hardware store that may have other product outside. So it's not a limitation on the number of days or the time period, but that they're allowed. As long as we're able to see something as a site plan, they're allowed.
And it says in F, must be compact and contained to not create clutter.
Okay, so that's the ordinance. Now we want to modify the ordinance for a date.
So, if there's no more discussion. So, yes, someone might wish to make a motion to add to section 6 at its end, but its effectiveness shall be delayed until January 1, 2025.
Do we have someone willing to make that motion?
So moved.
Second?
We got a motion and a second?
To amend the ordinance.
Yes. Christie, call
Yeah.
the roll.
That was Gutierrez that made the second.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
And Trustee Porter?
Yes.
And Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we approve the amendment. Now on the main motion, hearing no discussion, Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
And Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Thank you.
79.
789, motion to accept Development Commission findings of fact and pass an ordinance amending the Hanover Park Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, modifying the development standards by reducing for certain lots the minimum lot size in B1 and B2 zoning districts. Motion,
So moved.
second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? If I need to understand this, we are modifying the development standard by reducing the certain lots in the minimum lot size? So what's the, what are we doing?
So basically, if there is an existing commercial lot in either B1 or B2 district, they would now be able to develop, because right now, the code requires any new lots, and any new lots will still continue to be required to be 1 acre. Right now, because of that restriction, I would say almost all of the lots, or a majority of the lots along Irving Park Road, for instance, are substandard based on this requirement. So there are plenty of lots, commercial lots, that are not able to redevelop or expand because of this restriction for the 1 acre. So what this ordinance is saying is any existing, already subdivided lots will be considered conforming. That's how they will be able to invest in improvement and expansion. Improvement they can still do, but any expansion and any future new lots will still have to be 1 acre, but at least the existing ones will be able to expand.
Okay, I think I get it.
Let me just add one thing. What it really means is any existing lot, regardless of its size, will be able to be developed if it meets the other standards of the ordinance.
All of the other standards. So
we
whether
have-
it's parking, setback, they still have to meet all of the other standards.
Okay. We have a grassy lot, right, on Irving Park, by the tire place that just moved across the street. It's not 1 acre, I don't even think it's a half acre. Can that be developed at all?
Yes, they should be able to.
they should be able to develop, but they will still have to meet all of the other requirements, whether it's setback, lot coverage, parking, landscaping, all of those will still apply, but yes, they will be able to develop.
Okay,
And that'll primarily control how large the building can be.
Correct.
okay. All right, sounds like a good ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
And Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Thank you.
7A11.
7A11, motion to waive competitive bidding and approve the proposal from Girardi Sewer and Water Company to perform repairs to the Kingsbury Drive water main in the amount of $36,200. Further authorize the village manager to expend an additional amount not to exceed $4,000 for a total project cost of $40,200. To maximize improvement tasks and keep the overall project on schedule during the construction phase, and authorize the village manager to execute the necessary documents. 2/3 vote of the corporate authorities is required. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second by Bancole. Trustee Bancole? Discussion? Is this where we had a breakdown?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions, anyone? Hearing none?
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. 7A12, motion to waive competitive bidding and approve the proposal from MYS Incorporated to perform repairs to the Ann Fox pedestrian bridge in the amount of $33,250. Therefore, further, authorize the village manager to expend an additional amount not to exceed $5,750 for a total project cost of $39,000. To maximize improvement tasks and keep the overall project on schedule during the construction phase, and authorize the village manager to execute the necessary documents by Christmas. I added that, sorry. A 2/3 vote of the corporate authority is required.
Motion?
Motion,
So moved.
Second.
second, thank you.
But not by Christmas.
Any discussion?
Why not by Christmas? I'm just kidding.
This project is coming in way under the 200,000 I thought we were required to spend to replace that bridge. And I understand structural engineers were brought in to review it, and for this amount of money, they can guarantee us 15 years.
Yes, sir. This will extend the life of the bridge at the very least 10, most likely in their opinion, 15 years. During that 15-year period, not anytime soon, but starting in approximately a decade, we will begin the process of either rejuvenating, rehabbing the bridge again, or replacing the bridge.
Sound like maybe a replacement might be in order, but we have 10 years to figure it out.
Yes, sir.
Very good. I spoke to the superintendent and I explained to him what we've done, that we believe it'll be a quality bridge for another 15 years, and the difference in cost was phenomenal, and he supports our willingness to go in this direction. So I'd like to have that support from the superintendent and the principal, because I was really surprised when that bridge failed. So thank you for the work of staff to research all that. Any other board member comment? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
And Mayor Craig?
Thank you. Oh, yes. 7813, move to approve deal warrant 1107-2024 in the amount of $2,508,012.45.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Thank you. 7814, move to approve warrant paid in advance, 10/11/2024 through 10/31/2024, in the amount of $1,500,569,060.28. Do we have motion?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
And Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Thank you. 7815, move to approve September 2024 P cards in the amount of $37,611.93.
So moved.
We have a motion
And a second.
and the second. Thank you.
I have a question on
Yes,
on the P
yes.
cards. What is the allowable limit that can be purchased or P cards can be used for? Is there a limit or on P card usage?
It's a different limit for each department. So like, if it is like a supervisor for the water main, then they have like $20,000.
I'm sorry, say that, I can't hear you.
For example, if, for the Department of Public Works, for the.
It's not, your mic isn't on.
For example, Jed, the IT, he has a limit of $20,000 because he needed for emergency for equipment, just in case. So like Juliana has a limit of $7,000. Other department, like the deputies, they have $5,000 limits. Secretaries, they have $1,000 limits, so it's based on the level that they need the credit card for. But just in case that they need the money, like because they have something to pay that day, we can request an increase for that particular month and then bring them back to the original balance that they have.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Roll.
Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
And Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Village managers report, Juliana.
So we have closed session at the end of the meeting. So we will, and we will not be returning after, so we'll get to that point. We have wrapped up the budget discussion, so Remy and the finance department will be working on pulling the document together with all the numbers and the goals and objectives and the budget message. And that will be sent based on the actions that you took today. That will be posted by November 25th for the public's view of that document. So, and I think that's it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Village clerk's report, Christie.
Yes, just short and sweet. Save the date. Tree lighting is coming up December 6th, Ontarioville Park, downtown Hanover Park, as I like to call it, 5:30 to 7. Trustees, can't wait to see you there. We're changing the layout a little, so it'll look a little different, but it will be great. And I just wanted to extend a thank you, Mayor Craig, for coming to my Girl Scout troop and discussing democracy with the girls. They really enjoyed it, so
With
thank
a capital D.
It was fun. They earned their badge, so I appreciate you coming in.
And thank the girls for the books.
Yes.
They all signed them, and that was appreciated. They're sitting in my office.
Gotta bring them to the school. Gotta read them.
I will. Okay, Corporation Council.
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Herb Porter?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, let me start off by thanking the fire department for Halloween and the truck that rolled through the neighborhood and was passing out the candy. That was a real hit, and the families and the children really enjoyed it, just seeing the truck coming through with the lights flashing and passing out the candy. So thank you for that extra little touch. I know we kind of do that annually, and it's always very much appreciated by the families and the kids. So thank you to your department for doing that. And also, I noticed the extra patrols by our police department that were patrolling the streets to make sure that our families and children were safe during the holiday season and during the trick-or-treating. It was a notable increase in the patrols as I kind of stood on my porch and was watching as the kids came by. And not only kids, but a lot of grown-ups trick-or-treating. I don't never understand that, but the increase in the patrols was very much welcome and appreciated. Secondly, and very high on my list, I just want to announce that my daughter, Chantel Porter, Judge Chantel Porter, was successfully elected to a 6-year term as Circuit Court Judge in Sub-Circuit 1 in DuPage County. She's over the juvenile court. She deals with all of the children in the area. It was a long fought victory and a road that she traveled. This journey began in 2023 when she first had to pick up and change her residence from Carroll Stream to Addison in order to qualify for the sub-circuit, and then immediately had to begin getting petitions to get on the ballot for the primary and just a lot of things, primary and then a general election. So we're just very ecstatic that finally she can go to work and enjoy being a judge without thinking about the election process and protecting her job and being in that position. So I know a lot of you have been kind of following along, and you always are asking, how's it going? You know, how's your daughter doing? How did the election go? So I just wanted to take the time to thank you all for your interest and your concern, and let you share in the celebration with me and my family. And that concludes my report.
And how many shoe leather did you wear?
Oh, you don't even want to talk about it. Talk about how much, we talk about raising the gas price, you want to know how much gas we spent driving around through the neighborhood. But yeah, no, it was well worth it. It was hard work, but hard work is good work. So that's how that went. Yeah, and we're not afraid of hard work.
No, well earned. Trustee Gutierrez.
Yes, congratulations to Chantel. Very excited for her. Just amazing. So congrats. I have a question. I know you discussed the contributions to the nonprofits before I made it in. The contributions that are on that list, let's say for example the Wings, right? We have a set amount. Does that include when the mayor goes to the gala and purchases those tickets?
It depends on the organization. Some of them, with your contribution, you get so many seats at the gala.
Because there's been a couple already that we couldn't purchase tickets on time. And so, for example, Wings was one, and so I didn't want them to miss out on that.
What do you mean we couldn't get them on time?
They sold out. They sold out, and when Sue tried to get in, they were already sold out for the Wings purple tie. So is that part of the, are they giving us?
I would have to check with her.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure we're not missing contributions, you know, that we're saying we're giving them so much, but we.
Still got the donation.
Yeah, they still got the donation.
Oh, they would still get the donation, yes.
Even if we didn't go
Yeah,
to the.
they need to, the key though is, and Sue checks as we get closer to the end of the year, but they need to reach out to us and request those dollars, and once they're approved in the budget and go through, sign off on them, and so that we can get them a check. And sometimes we never hear from them, and so at the end of the year, she checks and makes sure that they get their funding request in and that they receive their check, but it gets processed.
Okay, all right, that's one thing. So Monday, Tuesday, I'll be speaking in Springfield at the Illinois Townships Case Managers Association, specifically on what benefits certain people get, which will be important for our conversation we had about water. The Basket Brigade is very active here in Hanover Park, and part of that is thanks to the mayor who got them the space over at Harbor College. So they're looking for volunteers. I volunteered in the past with them, So if anybody's interested, basketbrigade.net. And then finally, the Historic Committee asked me to remind you about the digital mayors. And it's the pictures of the mayors on the screen downstairs.
It's on Sue's list.
Okay, all right, that's it for me.
Thank you, trustee. Thank you very much.
Now it's on Courtney's list.
Trustee Kunkel,
Well, you already hit on the Veterans Committee meeting on the 11th of November at 7 PM. And I'd like to also say, fire and police, you were very, very out there for this Halloween season. The what?
no,
Oh, okay. Otherwise, that's all I have. I'll make it nice and short.
thank you, thank you. The attorney was trying to whisper in my ear. Trustee Bianconi.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to start by thanking our staff and department leads for another successful budget season. And also just want to thank you for taking the maybe suggestions or changes that are brought forth before the board into consideration. It is appreciated, and the discussions that we have are also appreciated as well. So, thank you. Last month, I was able to attend DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference legislative meeting. We spent a lot of time talking about the additional $400 million that was allocated to the FY25 budget for the state through, it's like the road fund through IDOT, and we spent a lot of time talking about how those funds will be delineated, because there's some communities in DuPage County who would like funds to be delineated per, based off of how big their municipality is, but the state currently would delineate those funds they would delineate those funds based off of need, and if a municipality has like a disadvantaged label or things of that nature, so more of a lens of equity. So we spent a lot of time talking about that, and that ties directly into what we talked about earlier tonight, and how we could always use more dollars for for our road fund. And so I will continue to monitor that discussion. Was also able to attend the O'Hare Noise Commission. Oh, Lord. O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission. And at that meeting, we spent a lot of time talking about the need for soundproofing in some municipalities, and I guess because that there's a lack of funds, that there are some homes that are in desperate need of soundproofing because of the increase in plane flyover. But because of how, the parameters of certain neighborhoods, there's some houses that have the soundproofing, and then the next street over, there's some houses that don't. And so the Compatibility Commission decided that in 2025, they will take a more aggressive approach towards federal funding and obtaining federal funding so that we can have enough funding to provide more homes soundproofing.
Can I just make a comment on that?
Yes.
In the process of campaigning for my daughter, one of the communities that she covers is Bensonville. And we were on the streets in Bensonville in the middle of the afternoon, and it was incredible, the noise and the planes that flew over every 30 seconds that flew over that community. And I don't know how anyone could live in there. And we were told the same thing. Some of the residents were saying that some of the homes had soundproofing and others didn't. So I'm glad to hear, not that that affects us in Hannibal Park, but I think as residents of Illinois and of DuPage County, you know, we're neighbors, and we ought to be concerned about that, but that is really a problem. I thought we got noise here in Hanover Park from the planes and the trains, but it's deafening. I mean, it's really deafening in that community. So I'm glad to hear that there's something being done. Thank you for that update.
Yeah, there's gonna be a bigger push, hopefully,
I can
for
jump
more
into that
federal
also.
funding, yeah.
In 1974, if you can believe it or not, I was part of the FAA team out in the neighborhoods monitoring the level of noise, and it was over 108 dB. Today, it's down in the 80s, but still not, it still needs
deafening.
work. Yeah, it still has work to be done. So I just thought I'd share that. I'm glad it's continuing. It was a real battle back then, so that's good news. And on your other subject, you gave me a heads up on the legislative
road
committee voting, send a letter out. That was very helpful. I talked to some of the mayors, and the mayors chose not to send a letter. That, we've always worked in a strong consensus, and that didn't have a strong consensus. And many of the mayors spoke, just as Bensonville and West Chicago did.
Okay.
So
Good to
we spoke to that, and it came out the way it should.
Good,
No letter.
good, thank you.
You can
Thank
put
you,
that
Mayor.
to rest.
Good. That's okay, that's okay. I was just gonna end by saying that in the month of October, Hanover Park had 3 noise complaints as it relates to O'Hare. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see, I gotta find myself. Mr. Priggy's not here. Troy Albeck? Trustee Albeck?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. First, I'd like to start with a correction to my words from last meeting. It was indicated at the time that I would need to step down from the Veterans Committee. It's been made clear that that is unnecessary, so I'm happy to continue serving in that capacity. I was asked by the mayor to attend a veterans event at Fox School, and Trustee Kunkel was also there. That was amazing, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be at that assembly at the school. It was fantastic. Subsequent to that, the mayor and I attended an event at Al Huda Elementary School where we read to the students, and I really loved that opportunity. It's very rare for me to get to continue to use and practice my Arabic, Pashto, and Dari, and in that school, that opportunity arose to practice those languages, and I really appreciated that.
When you did that, did you see the lady's eyes get big?
It's rusty, but I think it was understandable, so that's good. And also, I was honored to attend a manufacturing breakfast meetup on the 25th of October, along with Director Govine, at the BOS headquarters, and that was very enlightening for me. I was surprised at how many manufacturing interests there are in Hanover Park. I just wasn't even cognizant at the time. And some of the opportunities that are presented in that forum to improve their conditions. For example, ComEd came in and offered to do an electricity review of each manufacturing interest, subsidize replacement of their electrical system, allowing them to be more efficient going forward and save money on electricity. So that's an example of the director's attempts to make businesses in our community more profitable and more sustainable going forward. I thought that was fantastic. So again, I really appreciate these opportunities. They're interesting. The people that I'm engaging with are fantastic, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to participate in this. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Executive session, section 2C11, litigation and probable litigation. At section 2C1, personnel. I have a motion in a second. Will not be returning.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I did say will not be
Will not be
returning.
returning, correct.
Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Albeck? Trustee Albeck?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez? Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Okay. So. Trustee Bancole?
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I don't know. I went up to him. Did I skip your name?